I was recently talking to a client of mine and they said, I don't recognize my research anymore. And this is something that happens quite a lot and I feel it's not talked about enough. And that is how different your research, your actual research is from the thing that you wrote in your proposal or from the thing that you even thought your research will be. And there are several reasons why this happens. First of all, research by definition expands, and it expands fairly quickly. So you think that you are going to reach a destination in doing some path, but you realize quite quickly that maybe this is not the correct path to take. This is not even the correct way of reaching that destination, and so on. So it makes sense that your research suffers sort of these changes and it diverges sometimes to something that you couldn't even anticipate at the beginning when you were just writing your proposal or thinking about what is the research that you want to do during your PhD. However, there is this thing that happens then, research expands and we all know that, but there is this thing in which you just don't know. Sometimes we go so far away from our original research question, then when we have to come backwards and actually put it together into a thesis, into a paper, into something that you have to submit and something that has to make sense to other people, whether that's your committee, your supervisor, colleagues who are going to read your paper, it's really, really hard. Because how do you tie all of those things together without sounding like a complete mess, without confusing people, without confusing yourself? Because sometimes, as I said, things diverge so much that you struggle to tie all of those threads that are, there after 3, 4, 5 years of doing research. So one good strategy that I always suggest my clients is to structure the work. But what does it mean to put structure to that chaos of work? The first thing that I always suggest is taking a look back at what you already have. All of those results, collect all of those results, all of those slides, all of those plots, graphs, data, figures that you have, that you already have, in order to see whether all of those things are even pointing in the same direction, whether some results are contradictory, whether there are some things that make more sense, some things that make less sense, some things that connect more to where your research is or you want it to go right now, and so on. So this is the very, very first step that you have to take. And then once you see all of that, you think about how to connect that into a story. And of course, chances are that there are going to be some pieces of the story that are missing. Maybe some experiments that still need to be done, something else, some more work that needs to happen before you actually can proceed with the writing process, with the publishing process, with the defense process, and so on. But this is that two-step process that needs to happen. First of all, the base, which is taking a look back at all the results, all the data figures that you already have, then making sense of it, and then seeing if there is something more that needs to be done, something else that needs to be done in order to make this entire thing more cohesive and more coherent. So this thing is exactly what I help PhD students with. I help PhD students make sense of their research, make sense of the work that they did, figure out how to put all of those plots, random idea, half-finished drafts into something that makes sense both to them and their supervisor and the broader public that has to read those things. So if you are in that stage of your research, I want to invite you to join a completely free intro coaching call. You can schedule it on the link down below. I will leave it here down in the description. And in that intro call, we discuss exactly where you're at with your research, what are some next steps that you should take in order to be a step closer to that finish line. And of course, we see if we are a good fit to work together, if I can help you, if you need my help, and so on. So I hope that you found this video useful, and as always, see you in the next few days with another video. Bye bye.